So, welcome to battle report number 15, where the Orcs meet the Marienburgers in another Halloween scenario. So this is the table we will play on this time. We changed it a little bit up, but the rules will be the same as in the last two games. So we choose randomly one character and one henchman group. Leading the Orcs will be the Waaaghboss Uruk. He's equipped with a helmet, a set of light armor, a dagger, a sword, an axe and a bow, and he's got a lucky charm, and he is followed by two goblins, Zook and Puck. They only got a dagger and a short bow. The Marienburgers are led into the field by their champion Erich. He's got a set of light armor, a dagger, a sword and two pistols, and he's got the special ability Pistolier. He's followed by two swordmen. They got a shield, a set of light armor, the free dagger and two swords. The Marienburgers have won the roll-off on the second attempt and therefore will choose the table side and set their forces up first. So the Marienburgers have chosen this side of the table, and here on the left flank they set up Erich and one of the swordsmen, and the other swordsman is by the pumpkin patches on the left side of the table. So the Orcs are on the opposite side of the table, with Uruk, the Waaaghboss, followed by one goblin in the middle by the pumpkin patches, and the second goblin is on the left flank also by the pumpkin patches. Despite setting up last, Uruk, the Waaaghboss, spurs his troops, and on a roll of 4 they will begin the game. Before even moving, the goblin searches the pumpkin patch. On a 4 it's the random happening from the annual 22. On a 44 it's the storm of chaos, so clouds rapidly gather above the city in an unnatural silky yellow-green mass, and warp lightnings begin to dance from a cloud to another. On a roll of 2, the fish suddenly falls out of the sky to pelt the area. All movement is halved for 1 turn, but no other effects. And then here in the middle, the boss himself also searches the patches. On a 7 he got a mutation. On another roll of 15 he got black blood. On a 1 it will not be permanent, just until the end of the game. So if he loses, if he suffers a wound in close combat, all models in base contact will automatically be hit by a strength 3 hit. So as the movement is halved by the Chaos Storm, the Orcs and Goblins can't make a normal run move without making a test, as they move not further than 4 inches. So the two goblins and the Waaaghboss, they move all forward these 4 inches. The Marienburgers also start their game by searching the pumpkin patches. The swordsman is not so lucky. On a roll of 2 he's hit by a poisoned arrow, so he gets D3 hits, in this case 2. One of the hits is a wound, the armor save is failed, and he goes to ground. On the other side here, the champion, he searches the pumpkin patches, and on a 3 he finds a bag of gold with 6 gold crowns in it. Same as the opposition movement, the Marienburgers are only allowed to run 4 inches, so they run towards the monolith. So the Orcs want to move swiftly towards the monolith. The Waaaghboss, he fails however his run test, and on a 10 he counts as a failed charge, so he only moves forward 4 inches. The goblin, however, he makes the run test and arrives at the monolith. The other goblin on the left hand flank, he moves forward towards the pumpkin patches. he searches them, and on a 9 it's again the random happening from the annual 22. On a 64 it's screaming walls, so faces appear in the wall, and any woman member within 8 inches will get an automatic strength run 1 hit, but the goblin on a 2 isn't wounded by that hit. Attracted by the noise of chopping, and on a roll of 2 the first evil creatures appears on the board. Erich the champion makes a run test and runs forward towards the monolith. The swordsman, however, was too close to the zombies, so he could not run, so he made a normal movement towards the pumpkin patches and searched them. On an 8 he found a true sight prism, so that allows him at the end of the combat in the exploration phase to re-roll one of the dices. On the right hand side, the other swordsman, he got up from ground and made a normal movement 4 inches forward. So first turn for the zombies, and the first zombie, he finds his prey. He's attacking the swordman. The swordman, he makes his fear test on a 6 and can fight normally. The zombie cannot hit him on a 3. In return, the swordsman, he strikes back. He fails with his dagger, but the 2 attacks with the sword, he manages 2 hits, but fails to wound the zombie. The first goblin makes his run move and runs 8 inches towards the monolith. The second goblin has chopped his piece of redstone off and runs away towards the table edge. And Uruk the orc boss, he makes a normal movement 4 inches to chop his own piece off. After the movement, he takes a shot at the champion of the Marienburgers. Due to the foreground movement, he needs a 6, which he gets. He wounds the Marienburger and he takes him to ground. On a roll of 4, 2 new zombies appear on the board. The swordsman wants to charge the zombie. He makes his run move, but fails the fear move, so he can't attack. Here in the close combat, the swordsman, he gets 3 hits, 2 wounds with the sword, and takes the zombie out of action. Erich, the champion, he moves at half speed forward and takes a pistol shot at the orc boss, but he fails on a 3. The 2 zombies find their prey. The first one is attacking Erich, the champion of the Marienburgers, who makes the fear test. The zombie, he fails his hit. In return, the champion, he gets 1 hit through. He makes a critical wound and takes the zombie out of action. In the other close combat, this zombie is attacking the swordman, who fails his fear test. The zombie, he gets a hit through. The parry is failed even on the reroll. He gets a wound through, but the Marienburger is saved by his armor on a 6. Then the swordsman, he strikes back, needing 6s. He got the one with the dagger. He makes a critical wound and he takes the zombie out of action. This goblin, he walks forward towards the pumpkin patches. He searches them and finds a true sight prism. The other goblin, he fails his run test. On a 4, he runs forward against the next wall and is stunned. Uruk, the boss, he makes the run test and runs off with his piece of redstone. With no zombies on the board and passing both their run tests, the 2 swordsmen, they run towards the monolith. Erich the champion makes a normal movement towards the monolith to chop a piece off. On a roll of 6, 3 new zombies appear on the board. One of the zombies is just wandering around. The other 2 attack. The first one, he attacks the goblin, who fails his fear test, but neither of them can hit. On the other hand, this zombie, he attacks the champion of the Marienburgers. The fear test is made, but the zombie, he gets hit, the parry is failed, he gets a wound, the armor save is failed, and the Marienburger goes to ground. The goblin goes from stunned to gone to ground. Meanwhile, Uruk, the orc boss, he makes his run test on a 5, but just quite can't make it off the table this turn. Meanwhile, the other goblin, he's logged into close combat. Due to his initiative of 3, he strikes first. He gets a hit, a critical wound, and takes the zombie out of action. The swordsman wants to attack the zombie. He makes his run test, but fails the fear test, so he stands still. The other swordsman, he walks towards the monolith to chop a piece off. Meanwhile, in the close combat, the Marienburger, he just got up from ground, so he strikes last. The zombie, he gets a hit, but the Marienburger can parry it. In return, the Marienburger, he hits with his sword, he makes a wound and takes the zombie to ground. And on a roll of 6, 3 new zombies appear on the board. 2 of the zombies are just wandering around as they do not make their attack test, but this one he does. He attacks the swordman who makes his fear test, but the zombie, he fails to hit. In return, the swordman, he gets 2 hits with the sword, a critical wound, and sends the creature back from where it came. Then here another zombie, he attacks Erish, the champion, who also makes his fear test, but the zombie, he fails to hit. In return, Erish, he makes 2 attacks against the other zombie. He managed a shot with the pistol, but fails to wound the zombie, and in return, also the zombie can't hit him. The orc boss, he makes it off the table and secures the first weirdstone for the orcs. And Glim, the shaman, he comes on as replacement. He's equipped with a dagger, a bow, and his spell is Fulia, so if successfully cast, he cannot be attacked. Glim, the shaman, comes running on the board, not needing to make a test. The goblin, he makes a normal move forward as he just got up from ground. And the goblin over here, he also makes a normal move forward, and he takes a shot at the Marienburger, hitting him, wounding him, and stunning him. This time, the swordsman, he finally makes it into close combat with the zombie. He gets 3 hits, but fails to wound. In return, the zombie, he hits him back, but on the second attempt, the parry is made. Over here, the other swordsman, he goes from stun to gun to ground. And Erish, the champion, he fights against the 2 zombies, hitting one with his sword, but failing to wound him. And the other one, he shoots him with a pistol, he wounds him, and he gets him to ground. This zombie is failing his attack move and just moving 4 inches in this direction. Erish, the champion of the Marienburgers, fights on bravely. He hits one zombie with his sword, he wounds him and gets him to ground. The other zombie, he is hit by a shot of the pistol, wounded and taken out of action. In the fight over here, the swordsman, he strikes first but only gets 1 hit, but he fails to wound the zombie. In return, the zombie, he hits. The parry and reroll are failed. It is a wound. This time the armor doesn't save him and the Marienburger goes to ground. The goblin makes it off the table with a successful run move, securing the second weirdstone already for the orcs. But as there is still 1 member of the henchman group on the table, he will not be replaced. Glim, the shaman, he moves forward and he successfully casts his spell, so he can't be attacked until his next turn. The other goblin, he's moving towards the Morrstone Monolith and trying again a shot at the Marienburger, hitting him but failing to wound him. As the goblin tries to chop his piece of precious stone off, and on the roll of 6, 3 new creatures appear. The swordsman, he stands up from ground and he moves 4 inches towards the table edge to secure the first piece of weird stone for the Marienburgers. Here in the close combat, Erich the champion, he tries to get rid of the zombie that is on the ground, but gets only 1 wound through, and the result is still the same. So better here in the close combat over there. The Marienburger, he stood up from ground. The zombie, he couldn't hit him. In return, the swordman, he strikes back and takes the zombie out of action. 2 of the zombies can't attack and are just wandering around, as Gleam the shaman got his spell off. However, this zombie, he attacks the poor goblin, who makes his fear test, but the zombie is too quick. He hits him, he wounds him, and takes him stunned. This close combat here finally over. The zombie, he fails his hit, and in return the swordman, he gets 2 hits, a critical with the dagger. The armor save due to the dagger is failed, and the zombie is taken out of action. In the close combat over here, Erich is attacked by a second zombie. He fails his fear test. The zombie, he hits him. The parry is failed, but he can not wound him. Then Erich makes his 3 attacks against the other zombie, but needing 6s. He fails all of them, but in return the zombie only gets a 1, so it doesn't hit him. Glim the shaman again gets his spell off on an 11, so can't be attacked until his next turn. The goblin here, he went from stun to gun to ground, so the zombie tries to wound him but fails on a 2. After slaying the zombie, the swordsman, he makes his run move and runs into close combat with the goblin, who is on ground. He wounds him twice and takes him out of action. In this close combat, Erich, he hits first 1 attack against each zombie. He's hitting with a pistol but failing to wound, and on a 1 he doesn't hit with the sword. In return, the first zombie, he hits back, but the champion can parry the hit. The other zombie, he also hits, but he fails to wound. This zombie fails his attack test and moves 4 inches away. The zombie over here, he can attack, but he will not attack Glim the shaman because of his spell, so he also attacks Erich of the Marienburgers, who makes this time his fear test. The zombie, he strikes first, he gets a hit, the parry isn't made. He is wounded but saved by his armor. Then Erich, he strikes back against the 2 other zombies, but failing with both his hits. In return, one of the zombies gets a hit but fails to wound. This zombie over here, he attacks the swordman, who also makes his fear test. The zombie can't hit him, and in return 2 hits are made, 1 wound. The armor save due to the dagger is failed, and the zombie goes to ground. After the goblin has been killed in combat, on a roll of 4, the orcs can bring another henchman group on, and it will be Zim and Pim, the 2 other goblins. They are equipped with a dagger and a squeak podder. As the 2 goblins come on, they run on the board on the right hand side of the table. Meanwhile, Glim the shaman, he moves forward. He again gets his spell on, so can't be attacked while he's chopping off pieces from the monolith. On a roll of 2, only one evil creature will appear. The swordman, he makes his run moves and moves closer to the table edge to get off the board. Meanwhile, here in the big close combat between Erish and the 2 zombies, Erish strikes first. He fails his attack with the pistol, but hits with the sword, gets a critical wound, but only gets the zombie to ground. In return, the 2 zombies, they strike back. One fails, one hits, he wounds and takes the poor Marienburger to ground. Then here the swordsman, he attacks the zombie who is on the ground, but only gets 1 wound through, but it is critical, but still the same result, only gun to ground. This zombie over here has no target in prey, so just moves 4 inches in that direction. The zombie over here, he attacks the swordman, and this time he fails the fear test. But the zombie can't hit him. In return, the swordsman tries to strike back, but needing 6s, he doesn't get 1. Here in the close combat, Erish, who was on the ground, so the zombies just had to wound him, but only one does, and they only manage to stun him. After having chopped off his piece of wheatstone, Glim is moving away from the wheatstone monolith, but this time he fails his spell. Here on the right hand side, the goblin, he tries to run forward but fails, and on a 7 he hears a strange noise and just stands still. Then over here, the second goblin, he just moves a little bit forward to search the pumpkin patch, and on a 3 followed up by an 11, he managed to find 11 gold crowns. Finally, with a successful run move, the swordsman makes it off the table, securing the first piece of wheatstone for the Marienburgers. In the close combat here, Erish desperately tries to stay alive, but as he's on the ground, he is wounded by 2 of the zombies and finally taken out of action. In this close combat here, the swordsman makes 1 attack with the sword against the first zombie, but failing to hit. 1 attack with the sword hits the other zombie, he wounds him critically and takes him out of action. In return, the other zombie can't hit the swordman. This zombie is only wandering around, but the others find their target. As Glim isn't protected by his spell, 2 of the zombies attack him. He fails his fear test, but the zombies fail to hit him. In return, he can hit 1 of the zombies with his dagger, but fails to wound. In this close combat, the swordsman hits the zombie and finally takes him out of action. The first goblin fails his run test, but on a 6 he still can run, but he's hit by debris and he's gone to ground. The other goblin makes his run test and runs quickly towards his shaman to help him. Meanwhile, the shaman, he hits 1 of the zombies, he wounds him and takes him to ground. The other zombie, he strikes back, he gets a hit but fails to wound. As Erish the champion has been taken out of action, on a roll of 2, no reinforcements will arrive in the hero section. The swordsman moves towards the monolith, and on a roll of 6, 3 new creatures appear on the board. A couple of zombies are wandering around, but 2 make it into close combat. The first here against the shaman. He fails his fear test, but the zombie doesn't get a hit. Then Slim the shaman, he strikes against the other zombie. He gets a 6, a critical wound, but only takes him to ground. And the last zombie, he gets a hit, but doesn't wound the orc shaman. Then over here, another zombie attacks. The fear test again is failed, The zombie, he gets a hit, but the swordman, he can parry. In return, the swordman gets triple sixes. He gets a critical wound, but despite all this luck, he only manages to get the zombie to ground. The goblin stands up from ground and moves towards the pumpkin patch and searches it. On a roll of 3 and a second roll of 9, he finds 9 gold crowns. The other goblin, he makes his fear test and goes into close combat to help his shaman. He attacks the orc, and thanks to his strength of 4, he gets a wound and takes one zombie to ground. Then Slim, he gets a hit against the other zombie but fails to wound it, who in return can't hit the shaman. Short turn for the Marienburgers with only one model left. The swordsman, he wounds the zombie that is on the ground, one critical wound, and he takes him out of action. Same old zombie again, missing his test and still wandering around, as does this one over here. But one is finding a new prey. He's attacking the goblin who fails his fear test, but on a 2 the zombie doesn't hit. In return, needing 6s, the goblin can't hit back. Then Slim, he makes a hit against one of the zombies. He hits him, he wounds him and takes him out of action. In return, the 2 zombies both fail to hit the shaman. Slim, on a 7, he can cast his spell, so he can back off from the close combat and move 4 inches away and can't be attacked until his next turn, leaving the goblin alone in close combat. The goblin, he strikes first. He hits and wounds the zombie thanks to his 4 strands and takes one of them out of action. In return, the other 2 survivors can't hit the goblin. Meanwhile, the other goblin, he makes his run moves to come to help his friend. The swordman moves away from the monolith in direction of the board edge to secure the second redstone shard. 2 of the zombies don't find a prey, but the third one, he does. He makes his attack test but can't attack Slim the shaman, so he attacks the goblin, so it's now 3 zombies against the poor goblin. He fails his fear test. The first zombie, he hits him, he wounds him and takes him to ground. The other 2 zombies try to take him out of action, but they can't, so he stays on ground. Slim the shaman gets his spell off on an 11, so he can't be attacked and sneaks away from combat. Meanwhile, the other goblin, he makes his run test. He passes his fear test and attacks the zombie that surrounds the other goblin. He hits him, he wounds him critically and takes him to ground. Meanwhile, the other 2 zombies, they strike against the other goblin. One hits, but he fails to wound. In return, the goblin gets a hit, a critical wound, and takes one of the zombies out of action. The swordman, he makes his run test and runs towards the table edge. 2 of the zombies just lurking around again as they don't find their prey, but the third one, he does. He attacks the goblin who's already locked into close combat. The goblin, he makes his fear test, but the zombie, he fails to hit. The other zombie also hits the goblin, but he fails to wound. In return, the goblin, he hits, he makes a critical wound and takes one of the zombies out of action. Meanwhile, in the other close combat, the other goblin fights against the zombie that is on ground. He wounds him, but only manages the same result. With a successful run move, Gleaming the shaman makes it almost off the board. Meanwhile, in the close combat over here, the goblin strikes against the zombie that is on ground. He gets a critical hit and takes him out of action. In the other close combat, the goblin strikes first but fails to hit. The zombie hits but however fails to wound. The swordman, he fails his run move, and on an 8 he sees a light and he moves 4 inches in the chosen direction. 2 zombies are still out of reach of a prey, but here in the close combat, the goblin, he strikes first but fails to hit. In return, the zombie also fails to hit. The other goblin strikes against the second zombie. He gets a hit, a wound, and takes him out of action. Glim the sorcerer makes it off the table, securing a third weirdstone shard for the orcs, and on for him comes a hawk. He has a helmet, a 3 dagger, and a spear. Hawk the big gun, he runs on the table to get as soon as possible to the monolith. Meanwhile, here in the close combat, the 2 goblins, they strike first. Only one gets a hit but fails to wound. In return, the zombie, he gets a hit, a critical wound, and takes one of the goblins to ground. On 6, the swordsman makes it off the table with the second weirdstone shard for the Marienburgers. And as his comrade also got off the table earlier, a new henchman group will arrive. This will be 2 warriors, both equipped with dagger and spear. Both warriors run on the table, one in the middle and the other one just to his right. 2 of the zombies lurking around with no target in sight. The third one, he's logged into combat. The goblin, he strikes first. He gets a hit, a wound, and takes the poor creature to ground. Hawk makes his run test and runs safely forward. Meanwhile, in the close combat, the 2 goblins can't get rid of the zombie. He's on the ground, so both wound him, but as a result, it's still gone to ground. Both Marienburgers make their run test and run forward. The warrior here on the right hand side, he runs to the pumpkin patches. He searches them, and on a 5, it's a trap. So he gets D3 strength 4 hits. So with 4, this means 2 hits. But on double 2s, he isn't wounded. But as he fell in a hole, he has to make 2 successful climb tests to get out. And as one is failed, he stays in the hole, but can try to get out in the next turn. This goblin was just outside of 8 inches, so he just moves his normal movement in a random direction. Meanwhile, the other zombie over here, he attacks Hawk. Hawk, he just passes his leadership test on a 7, but with his spear he can strike first. He hits, he makes a critical wound, and adding 2 to the critical hit roll, he takes the zombie out of action. Meanwhile, here in the close combat again, the 2 goblins can't get rid of the zombie. They both hit, they both wound, one even critical, but the result is still the same. The zombie goes to ground again. Hawk's full concentration is on the shiny monolith, so he ignores the goblins in close combat and walks straight towards it. Meanwhile, the goblins are still locked in close combat. Even though the zombie is on the ground, they can do nothing more than get him on ground again. The spearman makes a successful run move towards the monolith to chop a piece off. On a roll of 3, 2 new creatures appear on the board. Meanwhile, the other spearman that fell in the hole, he doesn't make his 2 climb tests, so still stays in the hole. 2 of the zombies don't find a target. This one over here, he moves in the right direction, but can't attack the spearman as he's in a hole and so not visible for the zombie. The other zombie over here, he makes it into close combat with the spearman at the monolith. The spearman, he fails his fear test, but still strikes first due to his spear. But needing 6s, he can't get a hit. In return, the zombie hits him, wounds him, and instantly stuns him. And in this close combat, finally one of the goblins manages to get a hit, a wound, and takes the zombie finally out of action. As they have finally slain the zombie, the two goblins run towards the monolith to chop their piece of weirdstone off. Meanwhile, Hawk, he takes the opportunity and he attacks the spearman, who is stunned, and so takes him easily out of action. On a roll of 3 and 1, 3 new zombies appear on the board. After the loss of 2 of their warband members and the last spearman in a pretty bad position, trapped in a hole, the Marienburgers call the game. Starting with a winning warband, the orcs could use an extra dice and ignore one of the rolls because of the straggler they found in the last game. The two-sided prism that the goblin secured in this game can't be used as he has been taken out of action. So they find 3 weirdstone shards by searching the city of Mordheim in addition to the 3 weirdstone shards they got from the scenario. They have a total of 6. With double 2s, they find a shop where on a 4 they get 4 additional gold crowns. Added to the 20 they got from the scenario, they have 24 gold crowns. And last but not least, on double 4s, they find a new straggler for the next game. The Marienburgers only had 4 dice to search the city. They well had a true-side prism that they found in this game, but choose not to use it as they had 2 double numbers. So by searching the city, they find 3 pieces of weirdstone added to the 2 pieces they got from the scenario, meaning they have 5. On double 1s, they find a well and they choose David the Youngblood to climb into, and on a 2, he secures them a 6th piece of weirdstone. On double 5s, they find an overturned card. On a 3, followed by a 2d6 roll, where they get 9, they find 9 gold crowns, meaning they have a total of 15 gold crowns from this game. Only 1 roll on the injury table for the orcs, for the goblin who secured the true-side prism, and he does not survive the game, so his gear and the true-side prism are lost. 2 rolls for the Marienburgers. First up, Erich the champion on a 64. He got battle scars, so from now on he causes fear. And the second roll for the henchman with the spear, on a 6 he can rejoin the group. 4 rolls on the advancement tables for the orcs. First up, the Waaaghboss Uruk himself. On an 8, followed up by 2, he gets +1 to his initiative. Next up, Hawk. On a 5, he can choose a new skill and he chooses well hard, so that adds +1 to his armor save. Then Glim the sorcerer. He got a 6 followed up by 2, which means +1 to his strength. And for the henchman group is Zook, the only goblin surviving from this group, and on a 6 he chooses +1 to his ballistic skill. 2 rolls for the Marienburgers. First up we got Hans Peter. He's got a 5, which means a new skill, so he chooses strike to injure, so adding +1 to injury rolls in close combat. Then the henchman group of the swordsman, they get an 11, so let's got talent, so one of them is promoted to hero. As of Let's Got Talent, we got a new hero by the name of Tristan, the swordsman, on the left side. So he can roll again. On a roll of 7, he gets +1 weapon skill. And the henchman group, consisting of 1 single swordsman, can also reroll again, and on an 8 he gets +1 attack. Uruk the Waaaghboss sells 7 of their 8 weirdstone shards, giving them 100 gold crowns, plus the 25 gold crowns he had in bank, so they now have 125 gold crowns. And they make no purchases as they save their money for a bigger spend after the next battle. So here we have Waaaghboss Uruk's boys. We are at 14 models and a warband rating of 172. The Marienburgers, they sell 7 of their 11 weirdstone shards, giving them 100 gold crowns, but plus the 32 they have in the bank. They have quite something to spend. On a recruitment roll of 11, they are able to recruit some personnel. So first of all, you see the 2 empty bases, so they get 2 new members to the warband. First of all, a swordsman to add to the existing 1-man swordsman group. He will be equipped with light armor, 3 dagger and 2 swords. The second empty base will be a warrior equipped with a sword, and he will be given the shield from the existing swordsman. Then the 2 heroes, Tristan and Gottfried, they both will get a helmet, and in the end they are left with 2 gold crowns. So this is the new look of Knight Albert's Marienburgers. We are now at a maximum of 15 models and a warband rating of 178. Thank you for watching the game. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time.